Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Last Word. I'm your host, TJ Chamberlain, and I did not know that I was going to be in studio till about 2.5 hours ago. I was planning on today's episode being done from my home office. We have gotten about 2 feet of snow the last 3 days, and last night I was prepping for the show to be done in the home office. In fact, it was enough that I was going to be wearing green. I had an outfit with a green shirt ready to go. I had the microphone prepared, but then I find out today, oh yeah, we're in studio. I mean, at least it didn't snow as bad as I thought it was going to last night, so that honestly might be part of why. But still. Yeah. That kind of delayed plans for me wearing green today. Because, well, now I'm in the penthouse again. Anywho, we have sports to talk about with our conference championship review. AFC Championship, the Patriots are back to the Super Bowl. Some NFL fans are not happy. New England is happy. And me having Patriots season tickets, I am also happy as well. I don't know if there'll be like a watch party at Gillette, but all I know is I'm at least doing something with the boys that I have season tickets with. So, there's that. Also, the Rams lost a close one to Seattle. That game, significantly better than the AFC Championship, though I feel like whoever wins that is getting smoked. And next week, Pro Bowl, because let's be real. No one cares about the Pro Bowl, so I'm not even going to mention it. They moved it to it's legit next. It's a Tuesday. Why is the Pro Bowl on a Tuesday? NFL. I get no one cares about it anymore, but like, oh, let's put it on a Tuesday. Give us football again and send it back to Hawaii. You know, when it was peak. Other NFL news of importance. So, in particular, one that just happened. Brian Daboll is now the Titans offensive coordinator, and I like that move for Tennessee and Cam Ward. I really like that move. I think they're going to get him a receiver in the offseason, either through draft or through free agency. Because Calvin Ridley is he did all right his first year in Tennessee last year, and then last year he was just injured. He was extremely injured. I don't think he has much gas left in the tank, if I'm being honest. So, get a real number one for Cam Ward is huge. But yeah, that's the only non-head coaching move I'm actually, and by McDaniel going to the Chargers. I think I mentioned it a little bit last week. I don't know if it was confirmed last week, but it got confirmed on Monday. And overall, I like that move. I thought he was going to go to Detroit, which now Detroit has the old Cardinals offensive coordinator, which, good luck. He's not good. He is not good. Other things, coaching-wise. Yeah, that's basically the non-head coaching stuff. Head coaching-wise, Buffalo promoted Joe Brady for their offensive coordinator. At first, I'm like, okay, maybe they're doing this for Daboll. Daboll gets named the offensive coordinator from Tennessee about an hour later. So, do I expect much from Joe Brady? Not really. I mean, I think this is his first time being a head coach, period. Because he was, yes. This is his first time in any capacity being a head coach. And he's young. He's 36. So, I mean, he's been coaching since 2013. He was the pass game coordinator for LSU when they won the Natty in 2019. He had a big role in that. He was also the wide receivers coach. Then he went to Carolina to be the OC. Then was the QB coach in Buffalo. Then he became the offensive coordinator when Ken Dorsey got fired. and then the offensive coordinator, then now the head coach. So, honestly, I don't expect much this first year. Buffalo's more down on the down now. I feel like they're going to lose some people in free agency. They have a lot to do with the wide receivers. I don't think they're going to pay a receiver. I don't think they're going to draft a receiver. They're just stuck. They're just stuck there. They're stuck, and they're going to be like, they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't see them being a real contender. Speaking of teams that made the playoff, the Pittsburgh Steelers now have their new head coach, Mike McCarthy. To my friends that listen to this that are Steelers fans, I was laughing my ass off when I heard that news. I messaged one of them, and he immediately responds, "I love life." Sarcastically, of course. Yeah, you think, oh, maybe they go outside of the box. Nope. Nope. You expect the Steelers to be forward-thinking? You expect the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that has been in mediocrity with the same result basically since 2017, to be forward-thinking. Them. Forward-thinking. Let me get a good hearty laugh out of that. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm kind of laughing at your misery right now as a Steelers fan. But also, by the way, that's one of the guys I play pool with. I think he listens to this. Christian, I'm sorry. You're probably going to watch this, and I'm going to be seeing you in probably a few hours because we have our pool tournament got moved from, normally it's the day before we film this, but because snow exists, it got moved to today, and it might get moved next week because we have even more snow on the way. Ay. So yeah, Pittsburgh, I don't expect anything. I don't expect anything from them. You replace Mike Tomlin with offensive-minded Mike Tomlin. That's it. That's all I have to say. Now on to the last three openings. There's three more teams with head coach openings. Arizona, the Raiders, and Cleveland, which Cleveland's just going to be Jim Schwartz because nobody wants that job. And by the way, Jim Schwartz, god-awful as a coach. I think in Detroit he was like 29-51, which I get he's done a good job with the defense. However, this is a big however. Yeah, he's 29-51 as a head coach and has had 3 of his seasons with 10 or more losses, including 0-16. He was after 0-16. If he coached the 0-16 season, that would have been even more hell. Where did he come over from before he was the Buffalo? Oh, he's a defensive coordinator at Tennessee from 01 to... So he was with the Titans from 99 to 2008. Then he was with the Lions from 09 to 2013. Then he was with Buffalo for a year. He took a year off, was the defensive coordinator for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl in 2018. Then was a senior assistant. Then he's been the Browns defensive coordinator the last few years. But yeah, nobody wants that job. And honestly, I wouldn't either. So Jim Schwartz, congratulations. You're going to be a head coach again when realistically it's only because no one wants that job. Arizona, I don't exactly know where that job is going. Same with the Raiders. Dayball interviewed, and I guess he decided to take an offensive coordinator job with the Titans over being a head coach. Where that goes, we shall see. Basketball, Giannis is out for 6 weeks, and we also Devin Booker's out for 4 to 6 weeks as well. And now we do our standings check. Of course, Detroit's still leading the Eastern Conference over the Celtics, Raptors, Knicks, Cavs, and Sixers. That's 1 through 6. Playing teams are the Heat, Magic, Bulls, and Hawks. Milwaukee's the first team out of the play-in, and by the way, their pick is going to be, I think, in the lottery at this point. Then we have the Hornets, Nets, Pacers, and the Wizards. I think that's the first time all year the Pacers have been ahead of the Wizards. So bad it is for Indiana. Again, Halliburton's out for the year, and well, you're kind of cooked. But yeah, there's that. Western Conference, of course, the Thunder. Then we have the Nuggets. No, the Nuggets are third. Spurs, Nuggets, Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves. By the way, the Timberwolves had game canceled because of everything in Minnesota, which I will not talk about. I will not talk about it, but you can look that up. It's been in the news, so you probably know what I'm talking about. Then we have the Suns, Warriors, Blazers, and the Clippers. That's the playing teams. Then we have the Mavericks, Grizzlies, Jazz, Kings, and Pelicans. There's not really much hockey-wise as well. Just Carson Soucy got traded to the Islanders for a third. He's on an expiring contract. He's making $3.25 million, and he got traded for a third. I mean, that's one of those, he'll probably be on the second or third pair. So there's that. And now we look at the NHL standings, because of course we do. We look at NHL standings. We have the Lightning leading the Atlantic. Then we have Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal, Bruins, Panthers, Leafs, and Senators. By the way, the Senators are now getting Linus Ullmark back. He was out because of a personal leave of absence. He's back now. Metro, we have Carolina, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, now with Carson Soucy. Flyers, Capitals, Devils, Blue Jackets, and the Rangers, who are dead last in the entire Eastern Conference. Which, by the way, the Rangers are more of a dumpster fire than the Buffalo Sabres, and it's looking like a fire sale might be imminent. Artemi Panarin was told he's not going to be back. He's not going to get extended. Honestly, making me think he's not going to be back for next season. Western Conference, Colorado still leading the Central by a big margin over Minnesota and Dallas and Utah and Nashville and Chicago, Winnipeg, St. Louis. Pacific, tied with Vegas and Edmonton. Anaheim's 3 points back. We have San Jose, LA, the Kraken, the Flames, and the Canucks. The Canucks are dead last in the entire league. Rick Tocchet shows the lead at the right time, I guess. Baseball news, Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones are both going to be in the Hall of Fame. Manny did not get in, so there's that, unfortunately. Racing-wise, racing is back, baby. We have the Rolex 24. Felipe Nasser won his third Rolex 24 in a row. Jack Aitken and the Cadillac team was giving him a battle for a little bit near the end in the last hour or so. By the way, longest yellow flag period in Rolex 24 history, when fog kicked in and the race was delayed for 6.5 hours. Yeah, that was fun trying to stay up, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's still yellow flag. I went to bed. It was like 2. I'm like, okay, wake me up. I'm like, when stuff happens, wake me up, I guess. So that was that. Felipe Nasser is... I still hate the fact he was supposed to drive IndyCar, I think it was like 6 years ago, and that never happened because of the pandemic. I think he would have been really good at IndyCar. But none of those never went. I mean, if Penske decides to open up a fourth car for the Indy 500, which, I mean, might be possible now, because of certain news happening elsewhere, which, by the way, I'm about to get to that in a second, I'd love to see him in an Indy car. And now switching gears to IndyCar, Prema might be cooked. Prema might be deep fried. So the news came out that Callum Ilott and Robert Schwartzman would not be participating in the media day for so IndyCar Media Day is this week. It is Ilott and Schwartzman are not going to be there. Well, there's been a lot of reports about that. In particular, so when it comes to Callum Ilott, He is racing full-time in IMSA. I think that's what it is. I think Callum Ilott has a full-time ride at IMSA. He was driving in the Rolex 24. And so what happened was, hold on. Let me go through. By the way, Callum Ilott cannot catch a break. He cannot catch a break. And I feel for him because he should have gotten an F1 drive for 2021, but that team went to Mazepin. Then he went to IndyCar, got booted out of Yukos Holliger because of all the stuff with Canapino. Didn't get a full-time seat for 2024. Then he gets a full-time ride for 2025 with Prema. Starts figuring out IndyCar near the end of last season, and now Prema might not even be on the grid. They're not participating in St. Pete. Both drivers are not at Media Day. Also, the second Dale Coyne driver is it, but we already know it's probably going to be Romain Grosjean. They've just been delaying that announcement for a while. And also, Grosjean was the reserve driver for Prema last year. He's most likely about to be gone. Ryan Briscoe, driver coach for Prema. He just left to be a driver coach at Rahal Letterman Lanigan. So it is not looking good. And at the same time, if Prema leaves, of course you already have the charters, and Prema are two open entries, technically speaking. So all the charter teams are in for all the races this year, no matter what. However, that would also then free up 2 extra Chevrolet engines for the Indianapolis 500 in May. But there's also been rumors about possibly a team, buying Prema. They already have new ownership, but I don't know about the IndyCar program lasting. Callum Ilott, as I mentioned, has a full-time ride with Wright Motorsports in IMSA. So he's going to be driving IMSA for most of the season. I think the entire season, the only race that were to clash with IndyCar, if he does get a ride, is Long Beach. That's it. So Ilott should be fine. Schwartzman, we don't know what's happening with Robert Schwartzman. We don't know what's happening with Prema. We don't know what's happening with the 2 engines. Apparently, as well, we go to the 2026 IndyCar grid as of now. And again, Prema, for now, they're on it. We don't know what's happening with Prema, though. All we know is the Dale Coyne ride is the only chartered ride that does not have anyone in it. We know for the Indy 500 rides, we know the only ones that are confirmed right now are Ryan Hunter-Reay, Jack Harvey, Ed Carpenter, and Helio Castroneves are the only guys that it's Indy 500 only. So that's 4 guys. So as of now, we'd have 25 plus the 4 that is the Indy 500 only. So I feel like someone's going to come in and buy the assets of Prema's IndyCar program. I personally think they're not lasting the entire season. Because if this has been dragging on for months. Apparently, they're going to try to enter races, but I just don't see it. If you're not having either driver take part in Media Day today and tomorrow, which the only thing we've really seen out of IndyCar's Media Day today is the paint scheme the livery for the 12 of David Malukas, which is basically just the same Verizon livery, which people were like, oh, is Verizon staying? Yes, Verizon is indeed staying with the number 12 car, which that was expected. But I don't expect much with Prema. Also, when another bit of IndyCar news that kind of glimpsed over as well is that the Weenie 500 is going to be a thing again this year, and it's going to be broadcasted on Fox. Well, on Fox, which I'm for it. Also, there are rumors as well that possibly with the open entries in the two Prema engines that are not being used, because again, Prema runs Chevys here. The idea of Dreyer and Reinbold possibly running the ovals has come to mind. I would not mind seeing Dreyer and Reinbold and possibly Ryan Hunter-Reay or Jack Harvey maybe run a race. I know that I'm going to say this, if that does happen, then I'm not against it. There was the idea of, well, Dreyer and Reinbold buying the team. I don't think Dreyer and Reinbold has the budget. They've been doing the Indy 500 only since 2021. I don't think they have the budget to just buy the team outright. But yeah, we know there's two open Chevy engines with Prema right now. If they were to join the Indy 500, we would be at 31. We still have at least 2 rides. I know Catherine Legg's still trying to get an Indy 500 ride. Apparently she has something lined up. We haven't seen an announcement on it yet, but apparently she does have something lined up. Also, the idea that Colton Herta might be running a one-off with Andretti because Marco Andretti's not running the Indy 500 anymore. He announced his retirement back in November. I think the idea of possibly Dreyer and Reinbold doing more races again, because the last time they ran more than just the Indy 500 was with Sage Karam in 2020. And look at if I was just looking at the driver, well, the confirmed entries. Yeah, go to Dreyer and Reinbold. Where is Dreyer and Reinbold? Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. Yeah, it was Sage Karam driving for 4 races in 2020, one of which being the second round of the season at the Indianapolis Grand Prix. It was the Indy GP, the Indy 500, and then they ended up doing both. Basically, it was both races at Indy. They ran all the races at Indy that happened in 2020 because they had the doubleheader rounds 12 and 13. But yeah, I personally think it's something we'll be watching, or at least I'll be watching as a big IndyCar guy for the last, for a while. But it's going to be something that I don't know what's going to happen with Prema. It's kind of uncertain, but I know we'll at least have 25 cars for the season opener. Then lastly, the 2026 Royal Rumble is this weekend. So, time to make my Royal Rumble predictions. Which, the card as of now, we have both Royal Rumbles. Then we have Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed WWE Championship. Then AJ Styles versus Gunther. If Styles loses, he'll be forced to retire. I think Drew's going to retain against Sami. Gunther's going to beat AJ. For the Women's Royal Rumble, you know what? I think Stephanie Becker is not in it. I wish. I'm going to say Rhea Ripley wins it. Then for the Men's Royal Rumble, for who we have right now, I'm going to say Cody Rhodes wins it. That's what I think. So, with that being said, that's all we have for this week's edition of The Last Word. This is TJ signing off, and I will see you all next week. Peace.